Despite injuries and what VGK might spin as a lack of chemistry, will Bruce Cassidy start next season on the hot seat after bowing out of the playoffs in the first round? We'll talk about all that and much, much more in this edition of Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
It might be your best open of the season right there. That was good. That was really good. Okay, go ahead.
Really, for real. So this is sleep deprivation, folks. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. We are brought to you today by Monopoly Go. Download Monopoly Go for free on the App Store and on Google Play. Will Bruce Cassidy start the 2024-25 season on the proverbial hot seat? That's the question that looms. Now, remember that Pete DeBoer was fired for not making the playoffs despite the more than 500 man games lost with VGK and all that in his final season. Bruce Cassidy suffered through all those injuries and 9, we'll remember this number now, 9 surgeries and 2 where they had to cut players open and all that stuff, kind of gory. And, he was, we remember where DeBoer was bounced in the first round, where I should say Cassidy was bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Can the injuries be used as an excuse now for Cassidy? That's going to be one question. Plus, the players might decide if he should hang around for a long time. We can see that. We know that in the past has worked to the detriment of a coach. We're talking about Petey DeBeers. Curious to hear what the team says about Cassidy this past season. That's going to be interesting as the team prepares for its final presser today. I like South Beach Bruce, right? But I felt that the players might have tuned out on him at points this season. We'll have to find out more about that. Plus, how about records versus bad teams? My goodness, 1-3 against Anaheim, 1-2 against Arizona, 0-2 against Buffalo, and the list goes on, and we've talked about this. You get my drift. The team didn't get up for bad opponents, and we'll have to find out. I think there's a lot in the balance here for Bruce Cassidy. Thoughts, Chris? I say Cassidy will be on the hot seat coming up in the next season.
Well, give me some of those records against the bad teams again really fast that you had.
I had Anaheim 1-3, Arizona. This was just some of them.
Right, of course.
Utah 1-2, and then 0-2 against Buffalo. But remember the third periods against those non-playoff teams and teams under 500. The third periods, they let up so many goals. There was over 50 goals since early February after the All-Star game. Over 50 goals given up in the third period, and most of those were to lousy teams, and they just did not perform well against the bad teams. Again, play up or down to the level of competition, what have you. I mean, these are facts here that they didn't play well against teams they should have beaten, even with half of the roster intact.
So you said 1-3 against Anaheim, 2 losses to Buffalo. That's 8 points right there that swung. You have that that dumpster fire of a game against the Columbus Blue Jackets. I want to say January, when the famous "we don't want it" quote came out. I'm sorry, I think it was about January, whatever it was. So I mean, right there, that's 8 points. So 98 points becomes 106 points. 106 points puts the Golden Knights second in the Pacific. They would have been home against the Oilers, and who knows how that would have gone out. But the point where I'm going with this is Mark Stone did make a comment. You got to set yourself up better in the regular season so you can avoid playing a team like the Dallas Stars in the first round. So what you're saying, Tony, does make sense. And how much of that goes on to the coach? I think a chunk of that, definitely. The injuries and stuff. I joke about the circumstances and excuses comment that we heard, but it is a reality that the Golden Knights have had all these injuries on a year-over-year basis, and something that's important to acknowledge. But the Golden Knights got through it last season. The difference in man games lost year over year, I want to say it was 471 to 476. So it's not like the Golden Knights couldn't rise above it last season. They they did rise above it last season. Are the circumstances the same year over year? Of course, there's differences and stuff like that, but the Golden Knights did okay with it last year, and maybe this is the Stanley Cup hangover. Maybe there was a bit of a lack of desire because they won the Cup. Whoever, whatever you want to spin on that, the reality is that the Golden Knights did leave a lot of points on the table, which led to them playing the Dallas Stars in the first round. I'm not going to say the Oilers might have been a weaker opponent, but you never know. I mean, we won't know. We do know the Golden Knights probably wanted to play the Dallas Stars, though, in the first round.
Yeah. Oh, no, there's no doubt about that. The chemistry narrative, just so sick and tired of that. And
We're going to roast us, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And when you look at things at the end of the day, they're changing lines in the playoffs, which I never understood. Okay. You're looking for firepower, but okay. But at this point, you're looking for answers. At this point of the season, you're in the playoffs. I didn't like all that line shuffling. That doesn't tell me anything. And the chemistry, I felt, was a result not of new players coming into the lineup, but players, as I mentioned before, not playing for each other, if that makes sense.
What's Cassidy supposed to do after dropping games 3 and 4? Like, yes, they were close games. One of the games was overtime, but it really felt like the series took a turn. And this isn't even a DeBoer narrative. This is simply that the Stars really established themselves as the better team. So is Cassidy, in your opinion, just supposed to roll with everything as is, maybe change the goalie, but leave everything else as is? Or is he supposed to I think you're not supposed to say the D word. You're deed if you do and deed if you don't, I guess. I don't know the right way. You're Hoover damned if you do, Hoover damned if you don't. There you go. So I think we're all sitting here. If the Golden Knights would have bowed out 4-2, Cass needed to make some changes. Got to get Hutton in there. Dorofeev has more scoring power. Well, that happened, and that was probably Game 5 was probably the worst game of the season for the Golden Knights. So Cassidy had a response for, now I'll bring in the coach versus coach. Now he has a response for DeBoer, who made some really good changes to not just the actual players in the lineup, but it was also some really good changes to their schemes and stuff, because the Golden Knights couldn't get through. They were scoring at will in Game 1. Game 2, they were getting through the zone. Games 3 and 4, they didn't look like they got through it all. But I guess I'll answer the question here. So the topic of segment 1 is Cassidy on the hot seat? The answer is no. He's not on the hot seat, not in my opinion. But, and I've said this a few times, that seat is going to warm up in one of two scenarios. I'll start with the second scenario since it's going to be farther out. If come January, the Golden Knights are in a 7th or an 8th seed and just flirting with a playoff spot, that's when that seat gets really hot. That's when that seat gets really, really, really hot. I will rewind now and go back to today. We're going to talk about kind of the mood and the vibe of today will be the locker cleanout day where they do interviews with the players and everything. And the players will meet with McCrimmon and McPhee, and William Karlsson's got lunch with Foley lined up today at 10 o'clock, I'm sure. They're going to give their opinions, right? They're going to give their opinions on the coaching staff and how things went. And I think some things are likely to come out. There's going to be, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, as one Jonathan Marchessault would say, and it's not supposed to be either. But I think Krim, especially Kelly McCrimmon, is really going to hear some things that he maybe didn't anticipate hearing from some of the players. So the temperature is going to go up a tiny bit today and into the offseason, as it should. I will double and triple down on my statement that it was a failed season. No, Tony didn't say that. Golick said that, so leave Tony out of this. I will triple down that it was a failed season, and anytime a team is up 2-0, if you don't close out the series, it's a failure. That starts with Cassidy. Cassidy's not a failure. Let's be clear about this.
Well, and we do like Cassidy. Again,
love Cassidy.
Let's
I
make
absolutely
sure that we
adore Cassidy.
point that out.
He's
Right.
amazing.
But so many times this season, he said, that's on me. We didn't have a good start. It's my fault. I mean, there is accountability there. Yes.
No doubts. No, he's a great guy. Let's be clear. He's a great guy.
If he can't get the team to respond, then that's an issue. That's an issue. If they're not responding, that's on me. We should have had a better start. You know what? I got to prepare them better. You know what? They would come out so flat in so many games this past season. And that is not due to injuries. I'm sorry. We saw this at the tail end of the DeBoer era, where they just weren't playing with that fiery spark that you need to win.
Couple stats here. I know people are watching this right now and they're like, this doesn't make any sense. But Let's talk about numbers, not opinions for a second. 2.5 seasons. That's been the average shelf life of a Golden Knights coach that took an expansion team to the Stanley Cup in season 1, and a Jack Adams winner who lost in game 7 of a controversial call the following season, goes on a 4-game losing streak in January, gets canned in season 1. Pete DeBoer, a lot of people forget this, but Pete DeBoer led Vegas Golden Knights, went to consecutive conference finals on DeBoer's watch. And then obviously all the injuries and 500-man games lost in season 5, he gets canned. So that's the first stat I want to point out to you. The second thing is Coach Cassidy, now at 2 complete seasons, is the 8th longest tenured coach as far as all 32 franchises go. 2 seasons. And he is in the top third as far as the top quarter as far as the seniority chart goes. So it's a quick merry-go-round, in and out type of position where the general managers are probably flipping coins. Who's going to last longer, me or the coach? And obviously we've talked about or joked about the made men theory. So McCrimmon and McPhee, they're comfortable. They ain't going anywhere for a while, I don't think. But the coaching situation in Vegas, no one is ever comfortable as they think. And I don't care that Bruce won a Stanley Cup with the Golden Knights. It means very little. It's not what have you done. It's what are you going to do for me tomorrow? Not what have you done for me lately. There you go.
Okay, one of the things we were talking about lineup changes, one of the things that I just was thinking about as you were speaking there, and that's some really good points there, Chris, but
Thank you.
I felt that they didn't utilize Tomas Hertl in the right manner. They're going to talk, we'll get into that in segment 2, but they're going to talk about injuries. That's going to be one of the top narratives. But all of that aside, he's injured, what have you. He's coming off the knee surgery. Great. Okay, all that. I understand that. They're putting him out on the ice. We did see some glimpses of Tomas Hertl and what he could do for this team. They stopped going in front of the net. They put him on a wing. He's a center. He's a natural center. I did not like the way they utilized Tomas Hertl. That could be a show topic in and of itself because we're going to have plenty of time in the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it was what is the greater good for this team right now? Is it because Stevenson and Stone have great chemistry. Stevenson and Stone have been attached at the hip or the back, maybe the better way to say that.
At the spleen.
At the spleen. They've been attached at the spleen for the last 2, 3, 4, however long it's been since those two have been together. But Stone was not, Stone did concede that he's not 100%, but he also brushed it off like, hey, I'm healthy enough to play, so leave it at that. So maybe based off of that reason, you do consider breaking up Stevenson and Stone, which gets Hertl in the middle. I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can certainly look at that. And yeah, Hertl didn't feel he had 2 goals in the series or 1 goal, 1 assist.
Just the one just the 1 goal, right, in the opening game.
I think so. And then I think he assisted on it. He scored another. I think Stone scored another quick goal too, where Hertl assisted on, I think, off of a power play draw. So, but Hertl, he just didn't have an impact on the game. We talked about passengers and drivers yesterday. He wasn't a passenger. It's not like he was just out there coasting. Stevenson was a passenger. Theodore was a passenger. Hertl was trying to be impactful, but he didn't really register on either side of the chart for me. So we'll see. I feel like for segment 2, you can do a drinking game. We can have things like circumstances, not excuses can be one. Another one can be the chemistry. You'll be buzzed by the first interview if you do it like that. But I feel like we could set up a nice bingo card for lock
for today. Okay. Coming up next, we will talk about the mood during locker cleanout day, which they didn't have a locker cleanout day last year because Carlson was too hungover, I think. We'll talk about that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. It is winner take all time in the NBA and in the National Hockey League, and FanDuel is going to give you a shot at bringing home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and much, much more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every single playoff shot count. That's FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Today is, of course, the start of an off season where we're going to have a lot of drama. That's for sure. And speaking of drama, on Saturdays, we have the Chris Times Chris Jr. show. That's a YouTube exclusive. And then on Fridays, it's WTF, What the Friday, with all of your insanity-laced comments, which probably my favorite day of the week. I just really enjoy that.
I want to do a What the Tuesday right now. I want to do a What the Tuesday right now. This is courtesy of Braden J95 on Twitter.
All right.
Everybody boycott Boston Pizza in BC, British Columbia, supporting a rival on BC soil. You want to close up shop and take your blanky pizza with you. So I guess this is in British Columbia. Bring home the cup. Go Oilers is what is on their facade. It's what's on their sign. So I just think it's great. So whoever this Braden person with 185 followers tries to shame Boston Pizza, and this tweet has now 1.2 million views. So this Braden guy gave Boston Pizza in BC more publicity than they're going to have in their entire shelf life. This is a $10 million marketing promo this guy just ran for this little shop in BC. So good job, bro. WTT.
All right. You said bingo card. I was thinking a different direction and a different game.
Connect Four.
Let's say this is VGK Feud instead of Family Feud.
Ooh,
VGK
okay.
Feud.
Okay.
What are some of the top narratives coming up at today's postseason presser? Okay, go ahead, Chris. What is the number one answer today? Narratives. Number one answer is
we just didn't have enough time to get the chemistry. We didn't have this lineup until game one, and that worked against us.
Ding! And that was the second best answer. Number one's going to be injuries. Number one will be injuries. 9 surgeries, 2 where they had to cut people up in blood and galore. That's going to be number one.
Is that so bad though, Tony? Not the gory part, but I mean, like, circumstance, excuse, fine. I get that, and it's a fair way to look at it. But I mean, like, who's going to bring that up? I mean, where's it going to come from? Is it going to be like where all three? Because the way today is going to work, at least most of the time, Cassidy's going to go first, then McCrimmon, then McPhee, then Foley. Some order of those 4 is how it's going to be, and then the players will trickle after that. Do we think there's like a script where they're all going to just kind of start their perspectives of the season with that and then jump into questions? Like, how you think it's going to roll?
Oh yeah, it's going to be state-run controlled. It's going to be controlled.
That's everything, though. I mean, listen, there's a script, and that's fine, but I don't know. I mean, are they supposed to? I get you don't want to use it as an excuse, but you do have to acknowledge the circumstance. Like, I guess it depends on what the delivery is. I don't know if they're up there saying, "Oh, we just," I mean, the narrative of going off the rails already, but the narrative for me in the first round, honestly, I think, and it's not being talked about a lot, especially on this show, but I think Nick Hague's injury played a part. And William Karlsson, I think, not being healthy mattered.
And Marchessault. We're going to find out something about Marchessault's injury.
I guess, yeah. I'm not even aware of that. I know you mentioned radio said something, but back to the topic here, the mood. Like, I think, what are we going to get from the players? And I understand all the narratives and stuff like that. Is it going to be like, I was thinking about this last night, and I almost think there's going to be some relief. I think it felt like after watching that Dallas series that it was just a bridge impassable. I don't know if that's the best way to say that or not. It just seemed like it was too tall of an order for the Golden Knights to beat the Dallas Stars in a 7-game series. Why ever that happened doesn't matter at this point. It's over. They're done. Could the Golden Knights have had enough in the tank to go on and beat the Avalanche and make a run after this first round series? I mean, was it Matt Duchene called playing against the Golden Knights mental torture? He said that on the radio yesterday. Vince Sapienza put that up locally. I mean, that's a heck of a statement to make about a dang hockey game. Mental torture. But credit Coach Cassidy and everything they got for their system being hard to play against. So I think there's going to be a little bit of relief in the sense that it's over. The team just wants to get on and have an off season, rest and recover. Of course, when Martinez speaks, it's going to be different. And I think the difference in the vibe from a year-over-year perspective, this isn't even Stanley Cup withstanding, but the team knows this locker room will be significantly different, most likely. You have to assume Martinez, high likelihood, he moves on from the Golden Knights. Whether that involves moving on from hockey or not, we don't know. Will Carey, I think he's too injury prone. I think the team moves on from him. Chandler Stevenson, is there a path to extending him? I seriously doubt it. That leaves one Jonathan Marchessault. We'll see what happens there. Mike Amadio is another one. Like, these are all important guys to the Golden Knights for various reasons. And you didn't have this last season because the team was staying intact. Sans Riley Smith, which of course made everyone upset, but at the end of the day, that's just one player. I say just one player. Smith is an awesome dude. Don't twist that the wrong way. But now you're talking 4, 5, 6 pieces, and there's a lot of chatter that Shea Theodore is going to be moved if the team is going to find a way to extend Jonathan Marchessault. So that's like 7 of the 18 skaters that were in, the game 5 and 6 lineup. And of course, game 6 and 7. And of course, you can't forget Anthony Mantha. Who?
Yeah, exactly. So Elliot Friedman yesterday said about VGK coming back with a vengeance. We might hear that word today. Can you put vengeance on your bingo card? They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be mad if they lost.
Media, don't give us
mad if they lost, and everyone is out there saying, "Good, I'm glad Vegas didn't win," and it's going to hit them bad. They're going to be like, "Oh yeah, you think that's fine? Well, wait till you see what we pull next year." They're going to aim to come back and do what they couldn't do this year. This is an organization that is satisfied with only. It's not satisfied with winning one Stanley Cup. So
I already coined failure is not an option for the Golden Knights. I already coined that, so that's mine.
You got that. Back to VGK feud. It's on me. We'll hear it's on me. We'll hear lack of practice time. Is that going to come up? That would be kind of funny. What player?
Too much practice time, because that was the other narrative early on. I mean,
right. Too much practice time early, and then, oh man, there's too many games in succession. The guys have to do their honey-do lists at home, all that stuff, and then they don't have time to practice. What player's most likely, or player most likely to spill the tea today? To just go up there and just be it's Marchessault.
Marchessault is the one, when he gets the microphone in front of him, he's the one. He's not going to, let's just assume in Marchessault's mind he's not coming back. He's not going to go up there and poop.
He should go off the rails. It would be fun.
He's not going to go off. I don't think so.
He's got nothing to lose. He's got absolutely nothing to lose.
He's got a 7-year legacy, and that matters. That matters to these guys.
Okay.
Someone like Marchessault, that matters, but you can get that honesty from him. I mean, Marchessault was pretty dang honest about 13 and a half months ago when he was up in Montreal doing an interview talking about his situation with the Golden Knights. I wrote about this during my I wrote about it, to say it like that. And the quote was, "It's not all sunshine and rainbows." And then they asked about his contract and extension. His response, well, would Golden Knights like to take their time with that? And then you got some of the, it's been a great ride. Like some of he planted the seed right then and there in Montreal sometime in mid-June or July, whatever it was, that he's acknowledging there's a chance that he's not coming back. And the Golden Knights, I mean, I don't know this by any means, but I think somewhere between $5 and $6 million for 2 to 4 years, they could have had him locked up if they sat him down last June. Well, it would be July, because July 1st. Anytime between July and August. But for whatever reason, that didn't happen. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know the ins and outs of what discussions happened. But if the Golden Knights want him, there's a good chance his market is a high 7 right now on a yearly basis.
Without a doubt. I'm saying 8 with
I think he can get 8. I think he can get 8 times 2 from somebody.
Yeah.
Or 7 times 3 might be the term deal.
Yeah.
6.5 times 4. But geez, I mean, if the Golden Knights will go 4 years, lock him up through the 2028-29 season, that's I mean, he'll be 37 at the end of that contract.
The made man
lot.
today, another narrative will be defending the goaltenders and defending Pietrangelo. All the good things Pietrangelo's done when he actually blew the last series, let's face it. They're going to be defending a lot of the players. They'll defend the goaltenders. I think that's going to happen. Oh, they had injuries again. That's going to be a narrative with the goaltenders.
Was it a successful year for the Vegas goaltenders? Yes or no?
No. I don't feel like they are going to get you the cup. Last year could have been a flash in the stinking pan. Could have been.
Aiden Hill was pretty good the last 3 games of the series.
Aiden Hill's been pretty good in that. And should it have been Aiden Hill from the get-go? Or was he not ready to go?
I think that it was just another bridge impassable for Aiden to get an early start. And Logan looked great in the first couple of games. But to answer that question, and maybe we'll say, no, we're done talking goalies. Let's save goalies. Let's save that for like Thursday. Let's save goalies for Thursday.
And then they're going to have to talk about these failed acquisitions, a.k.a. Mantha, a.k.a. Hurdle. I thought he was going to be better. I thought that they would put him.
They didn't utilize him right, Tony. They didn't utilize him.
They didn't put him in the right position to succeed. Is more like it.
Corporate talk, not set up for success. So programming note really fast here while I'm thinking about it. We are going to record an additional Lockdown today on Tuesday and put it up sometime Tuesday night. That'll be our Tuesday/Wednesday show. It's going to be reactions to the locker cleanout day and the remarks that we get from the leadership, the ownership, and from the players,
and from the made men,
and all the made men. That'll be coming out later today. And
if they say made men, I'm going to lose it.
Say made men. If made men and BLT get hit on the same bingo card, then then
we know they'll listen.
I won't need a new co-host. It'll be Christopher. Christopher will get his promotion.
We could tell if they are pro Cassidy if they keep on complimenting the job that he did this season. I am so curious to see how they position this, because even through that Stanley Cup run, they really didn't give him much credit. And then
people are going to rip you for this, Tony, but you're right. They're going to rip you, but you're right.
Okay, and then McCrimmon, when his last presser was here in Las Vegas, he did say, "Oh, great job by Cassidy's doing a terrific job." So I'm just curious where they're going to be. What level will they be on pro con, I should say, Cassidy today? That's going to be real interesting. Oh, we got to take a break. Let's do that. Let's come back and we'll talk about our predictions for the 2 series in the West. Stars, Avs, Oilers, Canucks. We'll return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. I'm sure you've heard of it, Monopoly Go. It's been downloaded more than 150 million times. Great twist on Monopoly, where you play on not just one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations. You build up amazing cities that bring you big money. But the best part is messing around with your friends. You can charge them rent on your iconic properties, just like classic Monopoly. Now you can also rob their vaults of riches for yourself. That's right. And the leaderboards show us who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is, but it's not just my competitive side that loves it. You can also team up with friends and people all around the world in time tournaments to earn huge rewards. So get into the game, join your friends, download Monopoly Go right now for free. You could do it on the App Store or on Google Play. Download Monopoly Go today. It's free on the App Store and on Google Play. Welcome back on this Tuesday edition of Locked On Golden Knights in the postseason. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. Please make sure to download Locked On Golden Knights, the YouTube channel. That is where you find the Chris and Chris Jr. YouTube exclusive show coming up every Saturday. On Fridays, everywhere, you can tune in to WTF, What the Fox Said. Okay, so it is time. Well, little Chris making it here.
Chris needs some recognition right now. So Chris, our young guns yesterday, after falling down 1-0, we rattle off 3 straight goals for the win.
Did you get a hat trick?
No, he only got one. Who gets the first breakaway goal of the game from the defense and beats the goalie with a nice low far side shot? Who was that, Chris? Was that you?
Yeah.
It was kind of top shelf. It wasn't okay. Fine. Talk about your goal. Talk about the game really fast. Go.
Can you show us? No. Show us the selfie.
I would have gotten a higher goal, but there was a freaking defenseman right on my tail.
Mental torture, bro. Mental torture.
Yeah, rigged.
It was rigged. It was so rigged. Okay.
He gets the goal and he's saying it's rigged. All right, Tony, I'm gonna take your number out of my kid's phone.
Does he get selfies, photos when he scores? Does he do the celebration? What's it all like?
He tried. Yeah, it was better than his first one when he fell on his tail.
That was a good one. That was my favorite one of all time. Okay, let's talk predictions here. We've got in the West, Dallas, Colorado, Edmonton, Vancouver, and go.
Go ahead, Chris. Stars, Avs. What do you got? Really fast. Stars, Avs.
I think Colorado is definitely gonna destroy Dallas in Game 1. Whoever won Game 7, Vegas or Dallas, is definitely gonna get destroyed in Game 1. So I think they're gonna get. I think Dallas will get destroyed in Game 1. Come back to make it 2-1. Colorado will tie it up. Dallas will win Game 5, and then Colorado will win 6 and 7.
Okay, so Colorado 4-3. Then I heard, correct?
Yeah.
So Colorado and 7. Okay, so really fast. Oilers, Canucks. Chris, what do you got?
I only see 6 in that series. I think Edmonton will pull out Game 1 and 2. Vancouver will pull out 3. Edmonton 4. Vancouver 5, and Edmonton 6.
So 4-2 Oilers is what you got.
Yeah.
All right, I'll jump in now. I'll go with. I'm rooting for Pete DeBoer and the Stars, but I'm taking Colorado and 6 in that series. We saw a different version of Colorado, although I want to see what's up with Georgiev. I saw some reports that he's battling something, so I'll still go Avs in 6, but I don't feel good about it. Oilers, Canucks. I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to go against Chris's Stanley Cup champion prediction, Edmonton Oilers. I'm just taking Vancouver. I think it's going to be a weird series. I'm still not a believer in Edmonton, although I do want McDavid to win a Stanley Cup. But I'm going to go Canucks win a strange series in 6.
I'm going to go Dallas in 6 over Colorado. That defense was, I thought, the best I've seen in the NHL this season. I know defense wins championships or whatever they say. So I'm going to go with Dallas. And I'm going to go with Edmonton over Vancouver, and I think that might just last 6 games. But Vancouver, I didn't think that they would last as long as they did at the top of the division. So kudos to them.
And
I thought that they would fall
apart.
apart.
Write them off. That's all. I know everyone's going to take Edmonton, so don't write them off. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thanks. So again, we'll be back with another edition later today. So make sure that you mark your calendars. If you subscribe, you'll get that little notice there that we get on our phones. And
ring the bell. That's in our notes. Like we're supposed to say, tell people ring the bell.
It is?
I don't
know. Ring the bell. Ring the pipe. Ring the goalpost. Ring the goalpost, bro.
How about rig the bell? How about rig the bell? There you go.
Rig the bell. Rig the bell. We just come up with all sorts of creative ways to try to leave this show.
Not even on a napkin.
Okay. We appreciate everyone, especially our everydayers like Chris Jr. Of course, we thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. For my man, Chris Golick, for Chris Jr., of course, with us in the cameo. I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you again next time right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.